it is a new year, despite any resolutions, it just wouldn't be Newsnight Scotland without some more economic doom and gloom. Tonight it comes courtesy of the latest Lloyd's TSB Business Monitor. Its findings were summed up by the bank's chief economist, Donald McRae, who said that the Scottish economy has entered a severe slowdown which has yet to hit the bottom. So, despite hopes, over Christmas and New Year, consumers didn't exactly spend the country out of recession. Predictions for retailers are dire, and today's report from Lloyd's TSB isn't much better news for the wider Scottish economy. In the 3 months ending last November, 51% of companies reported a decrease in turnover, the worst result in 11 years. And companies are pessimistic about the future too. 60% of firms in the service sector expect to see a decline in turnover in the next 6 months. So, is there any good news? Well, house prices in Scotland have avoided a major price fall so far. Unfortunately, with sales significantly down, a big price drop could be on the way. The problem is money. People worried about losing their jobs aren't spending. Despite billions of pounds of public cash, banks aren't lending. Large-scale public works can create jobs, and lowering interest and VAT rates may encourage spending. But without easier lending, more businesses will go under, and the property market will remain stagnant. So can we really expect to climb out of this recession anytime soon? Keith Brown of the SNP and David Whitten for Labour are still here. And David Whitten, do you accept the argument from Alex Salmond that he has no powers to reflate the economy in Scotland? In other words, the problem needs to be dealt with by the UK.
Well, that's not exactly what he said, but I mean, he's got £30 billion to spend, and if he looks at how he can work with his budget, then he could do something to reflate the economy. But he's just very lucky that the Scottish Government is part of the UK Government, and they've been able to help out in such a significant way.
What should he do? Give me one practical suggestion that the Scottish Government should take up from Labour to try and get things moving again.
Well, one thing I've been calling for myself is more investment in skills, training and in partnership action teams.
How much more?
I mean, you could put a figure on it. I don't know how much more we'll be looking for, but you're certainly looking for several £million. It would have to be taken from one budget to another.
And which budget would you take it from? I mean, just a practical
suggestion. But again, Glenn, I'm not in charge of the Scottish Government's budget. What you have to do...
You aspire to be, so you need to have some detail.
I'm glad you've got faith in me, but there we go. I don't have that detail to hand, but what I can say is that we would be spending more money in skills training and on these partnership action teams to identify where skills gaps are and invest in that training now.
Keith Brown, isn't that exactly the sort of thing you have to do in a downturn? Upskill the population so that you're ready to take advantage of the upturn when it comes?
That's part of what you have to do, and certainly there is further investment going into apprenticeship training already, but I think also in terms of reflating the economy, the council tax freeze and also the small business bonus scheme has done a great deal. What's not worked is the VAT cut. That's been a disaster, a damp squib. It's done nothing. What should have happened, and what would have happened if the Treasury had done their sums, was infrastructure projects being brought forward. That would have turned out twice as many new jobs as a VAT cut would have done. That's the kind of action we need.
Okay, well, the VAT cut was welcomed by the SNP when it was announced, but it doesn't seem to have worked. David Whitten.
Well, I don't know if you can say that. I mean, the thing about the VAT cut, it was something that could be done very quickly, and it certainly hopefully was trying to stimulate some spending in the build up to Christmas and beyond. But I mean, it's wrong for Keith to just say, this has not worked. I mean, infrastructure spending is one thing that you should be spending money on, and the Scottish Government should be trying to do that. I mean, they talk a good game about all this money that they've put into housing, but we haven't seen the effect on the ground yet.
Okay, David Whitten and Keith Brown, thanks both very much indeed for joining us tonight. Let's take a look at tomorrow's front pages and start With more economic gloom, the front page of the Times says that Marks and Spencer is about to announce massive job losses after dire Christmas trading. Nearly 1,000 posts will go, according to the Times, in stores, and several hundred more from head office and support functions. Now, the BBC is trying to confirm this story tonight, but no confirmation from Marks and Spencer. Also on the front page of the Times there, a picture of Barack Obama sending off his 7-year-old daughter Sasha to her new school in Washington today. The Herald front page, it says that Peter Hughes, Chief Executive at Scottish Engineering, wants the UK government to get an arm lock on the banks to make them start lending. He says drastic action is needed to help tackle a shortage of credit that's hammering Scottish firms. And the Scotsman front page, it says Scottish Government public buildings have failed to achieve acceptable standards of energy efficiency. Gordon Brewer is here with tomorrow.